Yeah. Murder suspect broke out of prison and killed his ops. His op.
Damn. Through a hole behind the toilet.
Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa.
Said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. A manhunt for inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail by fleeing through a hole behind the toilet.
Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. That was a lot. Wait a minute. They escaped prison by a hole that they digged up behind the toilet.
Tuesday, as officials increased the reward for the capture of the fugitives.
Niggas is wildin'. Hold on. Do my work.
6 of the 10 remain at large as of Tuesday morning.
These stunning images from inside a New Orleans jail cell where 10 inmates, some charged with murder, escaped, sparking an urgent citywide manhunt.
Did you see how many niggas that just was?
Images from inside a New Orleans jail cell where 10 inmates, some charged with murder, escaped, sparking an urgent citywide manhunt. The toilet dislodged from a cell wall, exposing an opening. Scrawled on the wall above, "We innocent and too easy." In an opening, scrawled on.
I'm innocent. Scratch out. We innocent.
Join Discovery Bank.
Peace, nigga. Boy, look at the wall full of shit.
Act immediately.
On the wall above.
Oh my God, bro. We gonna have to buckle our seatbelts for this video. I see it right here. Let me flame up my Twinkie. I got it rolled up in some grabber leaf paper. I bet you didn't know grabber leaf had a paper. You know, the same. Yes, bro. Everybody keep acting like they don't know this. The same grabber leaf that sell the whole leaf, they got papers, bro. And they, nigga. Everything, bro. Like both of them. The grabber leaf changed my life, gang. From the grave. Like I knew about them, but I just discovered them for real. Like really got them. I'm telling you.
"We innocent and too easy," with an arrow toward the hole where they escaped, out of view of the officer on duty.
Oh my God.
Authorities say it happened just after midnight when the inmates broke a lock on a cell door.
Earlier today, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office discovered that multiple incarcerated individuals escaped from custody. What we know right now is that during a routine head count at 8:30 this morning, it was determined that several detainees were unaccounted for. Immediately upon discovery, OPSO activated emergency protocols and launched a coordinated response to locate and return these individuals to custody.
That had breached or escaped our custody.
Man, we don't want to hear that shit.
Linton Van name. So 1 through 11. Antoine
Matt. Crazy as hell.
He Linton Van Buren, Jermaine Donald.
He did it. He ugly.
Leo Tate.
He did it. He look crazy.
Kendall Miles.
He did it. He like a thumb.
Derek Groves.
He did it. His face too skinny. What's his name? Derek Groves.
Leo Tate. Kendall Miles. Derek Groves.
Derek Groves. Sound too close to Derek Rose. You did it. Do your homework on false identification.
Corey Boyd.
He did it. He ugly.
Gary Price. Robert Moody.
He did it for sure.
DeCannon Dennis.
Like they did it.
And Keith Lewis.
Oh, he for sure did it.
All of those suspects are considered to be armed and dangerous.
Fast forward Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. A New Orleans Parish maintenance worker was arrested on Monday on allegations he helped facilitate the escape of 10 inmates from the Orleans Justice Center last Friday. Sterling Williams, 33 years old, was booked on 10 counts of principal to simple escape and 1 count of misconduct. Sources say Williams is a maintenance worker who turned off the water to the cells where the inmates escaped. Williams claimed one of the inmates, Antonio Massey, threatened to shake him if he didn't turn off the water, according to sources. As you just saw, security footage shows the inmates escape through the hole behind a toilet.
How the hell they fit through that though?
Exit through a supply dock. 3 cameras in the unit were reportedly turned off. OPSO has admitted the escape was aided by defective locks and possible eternal assistance. Now the men range from 19 years old to 42 and face a variety of charges including aggravated assault, domestic abuse, battery, and murder.
Is this a jail or prison?
Superintendent Annie Kirkpatrick warned that the fugitives are dangerous in the news conference on Friday, but also urged the public not to panic. Now before we go over the order on everyone arrested,
don't panic. It's 10 Debos out here that just broke out of jail, but don't panic though.
I want to briefly go over everybody's criminal history, or at least why they was arrested. Gary Price, 21 years old, charged with attempted first-degree murder, domestic abuse, and aggravated assault. Gary was the fourth of the 10 inmates who was captured after he was seen on the neighboring Ring doorbell camera going into an abandoned home.
So a ring doorbell caught his ass going into the abandoned house. And they got his stuff at. Do he still got the jail stuff on?
Next,
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make.
Bruh, escaping out of jail is always a bad idea. I ain't gonna lie.
Or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
this is Linton Van Buren,
Gotcha.
26 years old. He was arrested in 2021 for second-degree murder and armed robbery. Van Buren was still awaiting a trial date. The incident happened on November 29th
Still
on the
awaiting a
9700
trial
block.
date. They said that was 22. It's 3 years. He's still waiting a trial date.
Chief Highway. The victim was identified as Ariel Brown, 34 years old. Next is Antonio Massey. He 32 years old. That's the one the maintenance worker said threatened him with a shank. He was arrested for DA involving strangulation and theft of a vehicle. Massey has a history of refused DA charges. The next suspect is Leo Tate. Now Tate just 31 years old. He was facing second-degree murder charges and attempted second-degree murder
Hold on. Get that too. Let's go.
charges in connecting with the 2018 shooting in which a 19-year-old woman was killed and a 16-year-old was sent to the hospital. You see, he accepted a plea deal in 2018 and the murder-related charges were dismissed, but he was convicted of obstruction of justice and was sentenced to 10 years. The next is Corey Boyd, 20 years
why
old.
he not in
He was arrested
prison?
back in May of 2024 and faces charges of second-degree murder, attempt second-degree murder, obstruction of justice, and threatening a law enforcement officer. Boyd was among 3 people who were charged in the death of a man who caught the group burglarizing cars. Next is the oldest of the group, 42-year-old Jermaine Donald. He'd been charged with second-degree murder and aggravated battery.
Bro, they said some in which that's all of them charged with murder. What the hell?
Possession of a firearm. Now, Kendall Miles, he's 20 years old. Miles was among the escapees, but was captured by the Louisiana State Police. Miles is facing charges of attention to conceal a weapon, introducing contraband into a prison, and possession of contraband.
That sounds like a dumbass reason to escape jail, bro. That was stupid.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that was just stupid.
Introducing contraband into a prison.
That's all of them charged with murder. What the hell?
Possession of a firearm. Now, Kendall Miles, he's 20 years old. Miles was among the escapees, but was captured by the Louisiana State Police. Miles is facing charges of attention to conceal a weapon, introducing contraband into a prison, and possession of contraband.
No.
That sounds like a dumbass reason to escape jail, bro. That was stupid.
ladies and gentlemen,
That was just stupid.
we got him.
He was not gonna do that much time.
That's just dumb. You got caught for that? You ain't even hurt nobody. Man, you just added more charges on you, boy.
Miles previously escaped the Bridge City Center for Youth and was accused of robbing and carjacking a man in New Orleans in 2022. He was indicted on attempted murder and carjacking charges.
There you go. That's
Oh.
That's why
Attempt murder. Oh, okay.
it's trying to get up out of there. Okay, now it's making sense.
Police said at the same time of Miles' arrest, he shot the carjacking victim twice before taking his vehicle. Now, the next inmate was Robert Moody. Moody, 21 years old, had been booked into the jail on weapons and drug charges. He was also charged with obscenity in July 2024, but he pled not guilty to all charges. Moody was captured on the 3500 block of 2nd Street with the help of a Crime Stoppers tip and is back in custody. Next is the Cannon Dennis, 24 years old, facing illegal weapon charges, extortion, kidnapping, armed robbery, and theft charges. He was apprehended on Dale Street. Now, last but not least, some would say would be considered the most dangerous person on this list, which is hard to believe. Derek Groves, 27 years old, was convicted in October 2024 in connection with the killing of 2 people during Mardi Gras in 2018. Before we go over those charges and how he just now took a plea in 2024, I want to talk about Derek's grandmother. His grandmother's name was Kim Marie Groves. In October of 1994, a man named Davis, a New Orleans police officer, targeted Groves because she filed a complaint against Davis with the Internal Affairs Division. of the New Orleans Police Department, alleging that he engaged in police brutality. Davis had a relationship with Hardy, a New Orleans drug dealer, in which Davis exchanged police protection for favors. Davis recruited Hardy and Hardy associate, causing to kill Groves. Davis and Hardy planned the murder and subsequent cover-up. Hardy was the trigger man who killed Groves.
Man.
And how we know all this? Because his partner later testified against him in cooperation with the state for a lesser charge. You see, families for a victim identified as Jamar Robinson and Brian Jackson, as well as the New Orleans community, was excited after a unanimous and powerful verdict on a Friday, October 18, 2024, in the case of Derrick Groves. Groves was found guilty on all counts, 2 charges of second-degree murder and 2 charges of attempt second-degree murder.
Oh yeah, that's crazy though. Your grandma got murdered and then you kill somebody when you get older. That's crazy, bro.
Conviction stems from
that's wild.
The tragic events of Mardi Gras Day in 2018, when what should have been a day of celebration turned into one of unimaginable loss. The shooting claimed the lives of Jamar Robinson and Brian Jackson, while leaving the 2 other victims physically and emotionally scarred. The case garnered widespread attention, not only because of the horrific nature of the crime, but also due to the numerous trial attempts required to achieve the conviction. Initially, Groves was convicted in 2019, alongside his co-defendant Kendall Barnes. However, the passage of a new law required unanimous jury verdicts for felony cases permitted a retrial in January of 2023. A mistrial was declared after the one of 12 jurors inappropriately read media accounts of the case.
Is that one of the dudes that got locked
June 2023 ended with the deadlocked jury. The evidence against Groves was overwhelming. The prosecution, led by Assistant District Attorney Forrest Led and Zachary Creel, presented a compelling case. 3 eyewitnesses courageously testified, identifying Groves and his co-defendant as the gunman. Cell phone records further dismantled Groves' alibi, placing him at the scene of the crime, while ballistics testing confirmed use of an AK-47 during the attack of what should have been a joyous Mardi Gras family gathering. In July, he was set to be sentenced. And in return, he escaped jail just 2 months prior, leaving the family of the victims.
Look at the face they made, bro. These little boys crazy and slow as a box of dog chips, boy. God damn, y'all slow. I didn't even think it was possible to be this slow, boy. Jesus. Too easy, LOL. Like, where do you even think you about to go?
Right.
You know how slow you gotta be? Where you think you finna go? You ain't got no money, no phone, no food, no water, nothing. You don't have nothing. Getting out is probably the easiest part. It's getting to, once you get out, you need money, you need a place to go, you need transportation, you need connections, you need a cell phone. You don't have none of that. You need a goddamn ID at least. You don't have none of that, bro. Nothing. And you think what you think you finna do? Get out of jail and somehow, some way, okay, the only way to stay out of prison after you escape is to go to a non-extradition country and live there. How the are you going to get over, what is that, the Atlantic Ocean? How are you going to get from the U.S., because non-extradition countries are all the way on the other side of the world. How the fuck are you finna get all the way over there with no money, no ID, no phone, no nothing?
Right.
As a wanted fugitive. Like, nigga, you gotta plan, just like you plan the escape, you have to plan on what you gonna do when you get out. You can't just plan to get out and then just, what you gonna do, just run? Fuck, yeah, like, this one, y'all slow.
For their lives.
Years in the making, a man accused of killing 4 people, 2 on Mardi Gras Day back in 2018. He was found guilty on several charges, including second-degree murder.
So he's been on the news.
Reporter Ariel.
Fuck.
This.
You niggas be not smart enough, twin. Not smart enough. You gotta realize you can't live out. Like, comment, subscribe. Wrote the format on my phone. Let's do that.